Hello and welcome to the CoachMe Vancouver podcast. We're recording live from downtown Vancouver. My name is Nadine Stille, founder of CoachMe Vancouver, and very happy you've tuned in for today's episode with certified career and leadership coach Debbie Jones about finding your ideal career through coaching. Debbie's extensive experience in corporate human resources combined with formal coach training position her as an ideal coach in the areas of career and leadership development. As we spend a large part of our waking lives at work, she believes that it's so important to ensure that we are spending that time doing something that really fulfills us. And Debbie is here to help us achieve that as well as overall career success. In today's show, we learn how we can find ourselves in the wrong career and what effect a wrong career choice has on us and people around us. Debbie takes us through a visualization exercise and outlines how this fits in with the overall coaching approach to identify our ideal career. All client stories mentioned in this podcast have either been approved for use or been altered to not be identifiable. So without further ado, let's tune in to our interview. Hello, Debbie.
Hello, Nadine.
Welcome to this CoachMe Vancouver podcast, season 2. Can you believe it?
Goodness me. Looking forward to it.
Yes, me too. Thank you for taking some of the time out of your busy day today. It's a rainy Monday outside in Vancouver. First day of fall, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, really happy you're here. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, thanks, Nadine. My name's Debbie, as you said. I'm a HR professional. I have spent my entire career in HR, and I'm also moving more into the coaching space. And so I've lived in Vancouver 4 years now. Yes, I moved out 4 years ago. I've lived in 6 cities in 4 countries on 3 continents. So I'm kind of hoping that Vancouver is it. Love it here, live on the North Shore, absolutely love the mountains, the sea, the whole of the West Coast. So that's who I am.
Mm-hmm. You're making the most of what Vancouver has to offer.
Oh, most definitely so. I'd only been here a year and I was meant to transfer back to Ontario, but I'd seen the mountains, I'd seen the sea, and I was staying here.
Exactly, yeah. You've already obviously mentioned coaching earlier on. What type of coaching do you do? What area do you concentrate on?
It's interesting, and I think it's probably because of my HR background that I found myself attracting clients looking for career coaching or leadership coaching. So it's not that I don't coach anything else, but I think where I can offer more of my skills is in the realm of career and leadership coaching. So that's what I do. I do work full time, love working in HR, but coaching is what I enjoy. And I do some of it internally, but otherwise I have a few clients on the side.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where you have some beautiful insights on a topic that you'd love to talk about today, about finding your ideal career.
Yes.
When you told me about it, I was like, yes, there's, please tell me more about it. Exactly. So why are you so passionate about that topic? What's the background to that?
I think some of it stems from the fact after years in human resources, I see the results of people who are they're just punching their time cards. They're not interested in what they're doing. They're just doing it. And I see there's a lack of productivity. There's a lack of interest. And I'm just seeing it from the work side. And I can only imagine how, because we spend so much time of our life at work, how it's affecting their personal life too, not being in a job that they enjoy and not doing something they're passionate about. Mm-hmm. And I happen to, as I said, have attracted clients who want career coaching, and it's what I like to see. I like to see people get into something they are really interested in or passionate about. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they can't. Sometimes people can't leave a job. That's a different coaching that we'll go through. But if somebody has the ability to be able to make a move, then really to help them find that ideal job is it makes me feel good and hopefully makes my client feel good too.
Yeah, I can see how that was something that's very fulfilling for both sides involved.
Yes, it definitely is.
Yeah, there might be different reasons for people for being in a role that's maybe not ideal for them. So what could be some of the reasons people are not in the right job?
There could be so many reasons. Somebody could have started out in the right job, in the right career, and their career just hasn't evolved in a way that is meaningful for them anymore. They could have, I've had instances where young people especially have been pressured by family to study something they're really not interested in, and then they've spent all that money on their studies, then you have to carry on in that job. It could be a matter of actually they're in the right career, but the wrong company, or they're working for the wrong person. So there's so many aspects to it, which is why it's a coaching relationship goes on for a while we really delve into what it is.
Yeah. And there's also the place where it's simply the wrong job. Yep. Right? Like it what is. You said,
this is not,
in.
what you're doing. And as I say, seeing it from the HR point of view, where you can just see somebody is not interested in being there. They're just doing the bare minimum to get through the day. I mean, I have to say that's very few people, luckily, but still, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that they could be doing something so much more fulfilling. And to me, that would affect the rest of their life. Because if you're spending 8 hours a day at work, and you're not being fulfilled, how is this affecting your personal life, your health? People come in with headaches and backaches and all sorts of ailments. And a lot of it can be linked to the stress and tension of being in the wrong job.
Exactly. That would have been like one of my next questions. What's the impact both on, like you've already mentioned, like their private lives in there, right? And the tension. Sometimes you don't necessarily connect constant headaches and low energy levels, etc., with having to kind of bring up that energy to do something that you don't actually want to do. And that has impact on everyone else around that person, right? Both at work and off work.
And off work as well, yeah. I mean, it leads to higher rates of absenteeism. People don't come into the office. I mean, if they're really waking up in the morning and going, I can't bear to do this, they're taking sick days as well. So, and then if they have a negative attitude, it's affecting those people around them as well. So it's the rest of their team or the office. So it does have a knock-on effect. It's not just the one person that we're talking about here. Yeah,
exactly. And I mean, as the HR person there, you can spot that and support with the coaching skills that you have, right? That's why we're here, finding your ideal career. Okay, so there is hope.
Oh, yes.
Right.
There's always hope. There is always hope.
Cue Debbie. So, yeah, through coaching, you can find your ideal career, right?
Yes. Well, I can perhaps give you an example of what I have used with a couple of clients.
Please, yeah.
When I started doing this, I had lists of questions, and it would be, do you want to work in an office? Do you want to work outside? Do you want to work corporate, manufacturing, anything? And I found it really was boring, to say the least. You're answering all these questions, but it wasn't giving either the client or myself much. And then I started doing a visualization exercise, and I wanted people to really live their dreams. And so I can go through and ask some of the questions.
Yes, please. So for someone who hasn't done a visualization before, what is it?
Well, first of all, I'd make sure the person was somewhere where they are quiet, where they're not going to be disturbed. And all it is the fact that I'm going to ask some questions. And I want my clients, I want you to dig deep to think about the answers. Think about what comes up. If you happen to have a notebook and pen handy, you can jot down a few things. And I really want you to just no holds barred, the ideal situation. If the money was no object and time was no object, what would you be doing?
Also, disclaimer, probably not do this while you're driving.
Yes, very good point. Not while you're driving, not while you're trying to cook. Don't multitask when you're doing this.
Okay, great. So take a deep breath, and this is like a few minutes, or
It can be as long. I'm just going to do a very abbreviated version, and it depends on my clients. I've sometimes spent a full hour going through this and still left questions for afterwards. Other times we can do it in a few minutes. It depends how deep somebody wants to go. So I'll just ask a few of the questions, and those of you listening, you can sit back and start thinking about it.
Okay, great.
So again, as I
ready.
said, yeah, so good. So take a deep breath. So in this case, money and time are no object. I want you to think about where you are in your ideal job. Just really picture yourself. Where are you? Where are you sitting? Where's your desk? Do you have a desk? Are you inside? Are you outside? Really picture where it is that you are. What's your coffee cup look like? What's on your desk? If you're in an office and look out of a window, what do you see? And then I'll move on and I'll ask you, who are you working with? Are you working with other people? Are you on your own? Are you outside? Are you leading a team? Just really think about what type of people you're with. Is it lots of people? Is it one person in this ideal job that you have? And then what is it that you're actually doing? What are you doing? You wake up in the morning, you get to the place that is your place of work now. What are you doing? How do you spend those 8 hours? However many hours a day it is. How are you spending that time? And gradually, as you build up this picture in your mind of what your ideal job looks like, your ideal company, your ideal career, think to some of your values. What values are you honoring in this new and ideal career that you have? Perhaps values that are lost to you now in your current job, or that you wish you were able to follow. So I'll leave it there. And this, as I said, is just a very brief introduction to a visualization. And to me, it gets clients, and I've done it myself too, to really build an excitement and a passion for, wow, I could do that. I'd love to do that, or I'd love to give it a try. And it's from that place, I think, of excitement and energy that then we can get down to business.
You're basically creating this ideal world, right? And you're using all the colors, all the spectrums, everything that you possibly can think of. And you're painting that picture.
I want them to tell me what they're wearing. Visualize it. I want this really in-depth picture. I want to know when they open their eyes in the morning, what do they feel when they're coming to this job? I get them to embody it. Sometimes just sitting still is not going to work. Tell me how you would stand and walk around. How would you stand when you interacted with people? And it really, as I said, can go on as short or as long as we like to really get people to think about what that ideal job is.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be a job title.
No,
right?
It's not. And I don't want them to say, oh, I want to be a HR manager and I want to work in a corporate environment. That's out of it. It's from that place of excitement and energy. Then we can start saying, well, what is there? That's when the work starts. And that's when we can say, right, what is here for you now? What is resonating with you now? And now, what do you need? What are your transferable skills? Let's go through a list. What do you think you can transfer from what you currently do? Would you need to study further? Do you have that opportunity? Are there volunteer opportunities? Let's take a look at your resume. Let's look at your LinkedIn profile. Is your LinkedIn profile speaking to this ideal that you want for yourself? And I think coming from this place of excitement as opposed to a checkbox list, I think that makes it easier then to know what your LinkedIn profile should look like, what your resume should look like, where you're actually going to start looking for this career. Or And I did have it with one client. They ended up saying that, well, I think I've described basically what I'm doing. So it's like, aha. So you are in your ideal job. What is it about the job that is causing you to think it's not? And that was a different avenue to coach. So it's amazing when people take the time to really think about what they want and what they're passionate about and where we can work from with that excitement.
Yeah. And it, again, because it's coaching, there's not necessarily you need to do this or you need to do that. So there's not, you're not giving answers. It's an exploration, right?
It's an exploration. And sure, I sometimes say, I take off my coaching hat from an HR perspective, but it still will be offering suggestions, but it's coaching the person to come up with how they want to make that move, how they are going to do it.
And that's then so much more powerful.
It is.
It's already in them, right?
It's theirs.
It's there already.
And it's maintaining that, as I say, it's maintaining that excitement and that energy and that, oh my goodness, I really could do this.
Yeah. By going through that exercise with you as a coach, it opens up a few different corners or perspectives even. You might think, okay, this is the only thing, or you're kind of stuck in the decision making around it because you may think you know what you want, but then you don't know, where to go further. So you can go through that exercise as well, or use that exercise to kind of come up with different solutions or paths.
It is.
Forward,
and
right?
it's to know where you want to go and have ideas that might not have occurred to you before you really sat down and had this time to think about it. And it could be that you'd be thinking about these questions days after a coaching session. And that's why I said if you had a notebook and pen, jot things down. And you might be sort of busy doing something else and comes to mind, imagine if I was doing that and this is what I'd be wearing, or anything like that, to keep that excitement, because you need that excitement and energy to make big changes.
For sure. Yeah. I liked when you said earlier about the honoring of your own values that are coming in, because that's stable in you. That's already you, right? And when you have that connection to it, it's a lot more powerful going forward, and it will sustain you.
It is. And you need to, because change is difficult. And if you have that, knowing your values and having that excitement, that will sustain you to make sometimes some major changes. Sometimes it could be small tweaks.
Yeah. So it doesn't always have to be a thing of changing full-on careers, or it can be, but it doesn't have to be. It could also be a step up and maybe going for the next step in your career, right? And you're just making sure that this is actually what you want. Is that?
Exactly. It could be somebody there's a chance of a promotion, but they don't know, is it them? I could use this, go through with them with it and see, is it them? Is it where they're feeling good about it? It could be a matter of somebody realizing, but the job as I'm doing it is okay, but if I could do an extra project, let's coach through. How could you put your hand up at work and ask for something? So there's so many things that could possibly come out of it. I'm not suggesting that everyone would go through this and go, oh, that's it, I'm giving up everything, I'm running away, I'm going to join the circus or become a wildlife photographer or anything like that. That's totally out of it. It might just be little steps, but it's getting you towards where you're passionate and where you're honoring your values.
Yep. And if that's a wildlife photographer, there you go.
If that is it, that's it. But it might not be.
It might not be, exactly. But you're painting this world, and then there's no limit to that, right?
And we're not saying it has to be done immediately. It could be something you're setting in place and start working for 10 years down the line.
Exactly. Great. So after the visualization, you said you're going through the motions, you're digging deeper and exploring some of those avenues that...
How can we get you, let's look at with coaching how we can get you closer to where you want to be. And in terms of jobs, a lot of that is resumes and LinkedIn and networking. So it's so many things we could coach through.
Okay, great. What is your coaching style or approach? Is there one particular one?
I don't. It's not that I change drastically for each person I'm coaching. While I mirror that the clients, if they're quieter, then I might be quieter. If they're more outgoing and energetic, I will mirror that. But for any client, I hold people accountable for what they have said they're going to do. It's not that I'm being tough, but you've come to me, you're paying me, you want a result, and I'll hold you accountable to what you say you're going to do. I'm not telling you what to do. You're telling me you're going to do it, but I'll hold you accountable for it.
Okay. That's the way it goes. People should see the look Debbie's giving me. It's like, I'm going to hold you accountable. Yep. You better believe it.
Yep, you better believe it. I believe in you, so you better believe in yourself as well.
Oh, that's amazing. Is there something like an example that you could share of someone you've coached through this that has experienced that visualization and had kind of X outcome, obviously without either revealing who the person is or and also knowing that, you know, this person has given consent?
I haven't had a client have a major epiphany yet, but I've certainly, it's helped a couple of clients to really clarify what they're doing and where they're going. I did have one client change jobs. She just realized after we started going through this coaching that it was more the company that wasn't her, not the job. She enjoyed the job. She enjoyed so many parts of it. And after going through the coaching and we started to tease out what it was the company. Oh. So for her, it made sense to stay in her career, but to change companies. Yeah.
So probably either would have saved herself a bit of some headaches there too. It's like, oh, is it the job? Is it the job? Right. And then like, no, actually it's something completely different. And that's not necessarily on someone's radar. It's like the right job, but the wrong company.
Yes.
Right.
So it's you don't know what's coming out. And I had another client who's looking to realize going through this that being on her own and having her own business was going to make sense. So we've stopped coaching. So I'm not quite sure with that particular client where she's going, but she definitely had thought that corporate wasn't for her anymore. Small business it might be. So you never know where it's going to take you.
Yeah. And that's the exciting part as well. No one's really neither you obviously as a coach, you don't go in with an agenda. You're holding the agenda of the client, right? And they're there because they want to explore.
They want to explore. And this coaching is an ideal opportunity to explore that. What about this? What is this? And try it on almost and see what it feels like and what it brings up for you, especially in terms of your values. Because as you said, they're stable, they're not changing. And you'll know when it resonates with your values.
Okay. Great. We're nearly at the end of the podcast recording, Debbie. Can you believe it?
Wow, time flies when you're having fun.
Indeed. So we thought for this season, the second season, we're staying with a favorite of questions in a bag. So I have a little goodie bag here with loads of different questions in, and that could be coaching questions. That could be fun questions. A few of them are a bit quirky and you can't obviously see what's on them, but you can pick 3 right now and then answer them. Right.
Okay.
Right there. Okay. Here we go.
Okay. So 1.
Yeah.
2 and 3.
Okay. Here we go.
So my first question is car, transit, bike or walking? And I have to say it's bike or transit, but I have to add in running too, because I often run into the office.
You run as part of your, we
commute.
Haven't actually, wow. We haven't actually touched on it earlier, but you're a yoga-loving marathon runner as well. So do you use this as part of your training? Or
I will use my 11-kilometer commute as a run and extra kilometers on my legs.
Wow.
So, yes.
That's inspiring.
Or crazy, depending. What's on your mind? That's a good question, because sometimes I think my mind is all over the place sometimes.
It's like,
yes, I need to get into
funnel it in.
Get back onto my yoga mat. What's on my mind at this very moment? Actually, funny enough, the one thing is we're here in the Vancouver Public Library, and I said to Nadine, I have never been here before, and it looks like a phenomenal place. So that's top of my mind.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
And the third question is, this is a very good one. I'm getting deeper with the questions. What would you like to be remembered for? That is a good one. I think at the end of my life, I'd like to be remembered for being kind, generous, loving, and a good person. I think if people can remember me for that, I think I will have achieved something on this planet.
Wow. And on that note, I don't actually know how to finish after this. This is a deep coaching question.
It was.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming in and making this so fun. I hope people will go back to your visualization part as well and jot down those questions, go through it, and have their aha moments and something that sparks reaching out and making that change, and contacting you as well, obviously, if they want to know more from that, and book a free sample session with Debbie. So
most definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming in, Debbie.
Thank you so much for having me, Nadine. It's been a pleasure coming in.
Great. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
It's so important to be excited and clear about what your ideal career looks like before spending effort on going after jobs that may eventually not be what really fulfills you. Coaching can open up your eyes to avenues you thought not possible or relevant, as well as create clarity about what you truly want and what you no longer want to accept. Once you've established that, it's time to explore how you can make this happen. Each journey to an ideal career is as individual as the person longing to find a fulfilling career that motivates and engages them in an environment where they are valued for all that they have to offer. With that in mind, I invite you to book a free initial coaching session with Debbie to explore your ideal career. Simply go to CoachMeVancouver.com/book. That's CoachMeVancouver.com/book. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, stay curious.